Hi, my name is Harrison Golden, and this is my TOK presentation on truth versus perception. Okay, so my real life example is the Matrix. So Elon Musk, the billionaire entrepreneur, most known for SpaceX, Tesla, and PayPal, stated there is only a 1 in billions chance that we're not living in a computer simulation. Musk stated, 40 years ago we had games like Pong, like 2 rectangles and a dot. That's what games were. Now, 40 years later, we have photorealistic 3D simulations with millions of people all playing simultaneously, and it's getting better every year. If you assume the rate of improvement at all, then games will become indistinguishable from reality. His statement can be broken up into the knowledge claim: human beings are living in an augmented reality simulation. In this, we can believe as truth, and therefore, this defines our existence and perception of the world around us. This brings many ethical and scientific questions that we can use further exploration. This example looks into science and ethics. So from this knowledge claim, we can ask a variety of questions. In sciences and in math, we are supposed to find an answer or preordained truth. In business, we have to judge the validity and calculate the reality of a person's claims. This fuels my main knowledge question of, how do we define and understand truth using perception? In this real-life situation, Musk states that our entire perception of reality is wrong, ignoring the existentialism. How do we, as humans, constantly striving to better understand our reality? Also, our current society strives for the truth. In IB, we are asked for our opinions and truths to further conversation and analyze the world around us for our AAs. So this can bring us to the sub-question of, how do we define truth based on our perspectives of reality? So, truth is defined by Merriam-Webster as the property as of a statement of being in accord or with fact or reality. Therefore, truth is connotated with fact and reality. In itself, truth can be changed based off of perception or new information. Truth is applied to propositions, and the ideal of it is either true or not true. The problem is the lack of justification in that inherently truth only looks into the black and white, not able to predict change in knowledge. Therefore, we can see truth as an opinion that can be agreed upon common held perception. The opposite of truth, something that is false, unfortunately doesn't account for the degrees of changes in truths. If we do not tell the complete story, for example, we are not necessarily lying or telling any falsehoods. We are just simply not presenting the entire truth. The limitations of truth make it so that, based off of a person's perceptions of all statements, are in themselves change, making the truth an archaic and therefore in itself a lie of a term. Tying back to our knowledge question, how do we define and understand truth using perception? The common held belief of truth is much more complicated in that truth in itself is a mistruth. The limitations of belief are that a person's beliefs through another's interpretations are very different. We can also infer that in our knowledge question, we can therefore eliminate the concept of certainty based off of changing viewpoints in our perception of information perceived. Our next idea is perception. Perception can be broken up into the comprehension of the world around us. Perception is how we identify fact, truth, and information. Interpretation of information has a lot of differentiation based off of background. Familial background, religious belief, education, ethnicity, and socioeconomic background all make differences that can impact perception. Our beliefs construe the information that we as humans are presented. According to Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. In this, it shows how everything we are taught / presented in itself has been interpreted, so therefore is only an opinion. From where people stand on their planes of personal beliefs is how people see information and supposed fact given to them. Knowledge is deduced by perception of common held information. In saying so, the information we infer is limited to a viewpoint, and information is deduced / reasoned by a person's personal perception. For example, we have Plato's allegory of the cave. In this scenario, people who live in a cave have been imprisoned from birth. They are prisoners chained so that they are faced forward with the inability to see backwards or around them. Behind them, there is a fire, and the fire and the people walk behind the fire, walk in front of the fire every day, showing puppets or different lifelike figures. All the people see are the shadows and not the real puppeteers who hold the shadows. Now, this ties into the knowledge question of understanding truth using perception, into how Plato's allegory of the cave the people are not able to comprehend the reality that they are given. When people assume the reality they are given is the outward truth, the truth is lost. So we have two different perspectives. We have cultural perspectives and religion, and more specifically, religious texts. So in different cultures, truth is more or less important. For example, in Japan, the idea of wa, meaning social harmony, is more important than the truth. When Japanese people need to reply in the negative, whether it is to refuse, decline, or just say no, it is fraught with subtlety and nuance. In Finland, it's very different. Everything there is very much with a tight correlation of truth. Everything has to be very much honest and very straightforward. Integrity and credibility are built upon one's words, so there's a high value on communication without any spin or exaggeration or oversimplification. Their idea is if you don't say the full truth that is your truth, you are inherently doing it wrong. The religious texts, so millions of Christians around the world view the Bible as the truth. They view the Bible as God's words, and that all said in the Bible is inherently true. The idea is that the Bible is a set of guidelines or moral truths that they have to follow in their daily lives. This is very similar to the Torah, where most Jews perceive the books of the Torah as the truth and the rules handed down from God. Therefore, the idea of Jews and Christians is that the religious texts are the ultimate truths, and that the best people to perceive those truths are the religious figures such as priests or rabbis. So it's also very important because we're taught in history about a lot of different religions, especially because they have shaped so much of our culture and art and literature. So my other real life situations are Pizzagate and the Titanic. So Pizzagate was a conspiracy theory where a North Carolina man entered a Washington pizzeria with an assault rifle to self-investigate a false conspiracy theory about Hillary Clinton. The theory was that a business was a front for a child sex ring run by Hillary Clinton and her campaign manager. This is kind of interesting because it was proven completely completely false, and the guy actually just attacked a poor pizzeria. So we can question, how do different people differentiate claims of truth from lie? How is one person's truth therefore another person's disproven statement? So the Titanic, one of the most known stories was when a ship, the largest ship ever made, just sunk when it hit an iceberg. So many people believed that originally it was too big to ever sink. Sylvia Caldwell, one of the more famous of the passengers, stated that her porter made the knowledge claim God himself couldn't sink that ship. Many people have beliefs that are changed once it's disproven through action. So in my evaluation, truth in itself is very difficult to understand. In the real life situation of Elon Musk, he stated the probability of living in a computer simulation, and understanding that we do determine what Musk ultimately meant in his statements, and that does he truly believe his statements? How do we differentiate truth and understand that this is how it affects our reality? The pro in his argument is Plato's allegory of the cave. It is potentially that Elon Musk is one of the only people that can see beyond our preordained truth of perception. But the limitations that are seen are, he has had very little follow-up to this question, the lack of knowledge, whether Musk believes his statements, and how the truth can be nothing more than a strong opinion. The point that Elon Musk has stated has not provided any ethical or scientific evidence towards this claim. Based off of my personal faith and perspectives, and me being a teenager, I like to believe that I like to make my own decisions, so that inherently affects my judgment. but I'd like to believe that this is not true. The other limitations that disprove this argument is how it is implausible, and that even though technology has progressed rapidly, there's no concept that could currently run a simulation this large. So thank you.